So lately I have been playing around a lot more with tangles. It's been one of those things on the to-do list for me for a very long time, and for a very long time I've known how to do a lot of the tangles that you get into through split time same direction, such as air wraps and hyperloops. But one of the things that I haven't gotten that much into, not the least of which because it didn't seem like there was one coherent theory out there to explain them, was tangles that had to work in an opposites kind of place. Like, for instance, the butterflap, or the, yes, that is in fact the name, the butterfloop. So let me put these out there to you guys to show them because yeah, I think it's helpful in some respects, but at the same time, this is one of those things that I can imagine is going to be subject to debate for a very, very, very long time. So to start with, the butterflap. We actually, we've already played with something that's very similar to this. A couple weeks ago when I showed you guys how to do stirring the pot. Now, stirring the pot, by and large, is just kind of the butterflap that's been kind of keeled over a little bit on its side, at least in one of the planes it has. So while my left hand here is doing this kind of horizontal isolation, I can gradually bring the point at which it's furthest away from me up higher and higher until I'm at a place where the two planes are both vertical, in which case I am performing what I'm told is the butterflap. The theory is that it is named the butterflap because it is roughly analogous in butterfly terms to an air wrap in split time same direction. Now, before you ask, no, it is not actually analogous in any way other than the fact that it is happening in wall plane. It switches back and forth between places where the poi are not tangled and where they are tangled, like right there. But it's a very, very nice thing that you can do to kind of like sustain a little bit of a tangle going back and forth for a while. Whereas if you try to do that in split time same direction with something like, say, an ollie, that is a phenomenally difficult trick to learn. Now, once we get past the butterflap, things get a little bit contentious. Oh, and by the way, to kind of help you guys understand what the mechanics of this are, let me show you this from the side. Notice that my left hand poi here is slightly further away from my body than my right hand poi is. That is part of what's making this work. Ironically enough, my left hand is now closer to me than my right hand is. That is also part of what makes it work. The right hand plane is more or less vertical while the left hand plane is tilted slightly forward from the top side, yeah? Okay, so let's talk about the butterfloop, because there seems to be some confusion about this, with many people actually saying this itself is a butterfloop. And I am not going to tell you who's right or wrong. I'm going to tell you the closest thing to consensus that I have found by going out and asking this question, which is that the butterfloop, basically I've seen two different approaches to doing it, and the theory being that this is supposed to be the butterfly equivalent of a hyperloop. The first one that I have seen involves passing the right-hand poi through between the arms and then the left-hand poi through between the arms. And you'll see that gets us back to a place where we can perform the butterflap in wall plane. Again, that is right-hand poi goes between the arms and then left-hand poi goes between the arms, like so. There's a variation on this that is on the first volume of the Encyclopedia that is performed something more like this. And it's a little bit more troublesome to get into, but otherwise it's the exact same move, wherein I'm going to come from a buzzsaw place, let them tangle, pop around, oop. And the trick to this is that I have to try and get my left-hand poi to come back in between my arms on the other side of this pattern right here. So like, whoops, that, or not. There we go. And the theory there is that it's going to automatically unwrap itself when it gets to the other side. This made absolutely no sense whatsoever to me for the longest time. But the thing is that it actually is not that terribly different from this move right here. Excuse me. In fact, we can turn them into the same thing if, say, we bring right hand through, left hand through, and then just let them go in that buzzsaw plane kind of place, right? All we're doing is that we're entering like halfway through it rather than starting off from this buzzsaw place right here, yeah? Ding. Let me show you what that looks like kind of from the side, or from a kind of off angle. if that helps out. So I have my two poi and buzzsaw plane here, and they're both going together opposites. And I'm tilting the planes slightly in towards each other, so they're going to run into each other. I let right-hand poi go through my arms, pass it around, grr, arg, go across, and then I let the left-hand poi drop down in between my arms on the other side. This is actually quite a lot more difficult with contact poi than it would be with, say, like sock poi, for example. Let me show you the exit on that. Like so. Hooah! There we go. Sweet. It both helps and hinders that my poi are rather long, like they're almost as long as my arms are. So it's that kind of thing that I've got plenty of room to work with in making the tangle happen, but both the entry and the exit are both rather difficult because of the length. I have to keep my arms very far away from myself in order to keep from hitting myself with the poi. So yeah. I suspect that there is more to come on this particular topic, and that there have been a host of other kind of thoughts thrown out as I've been investigating this on things ranging from inversions and introversions to this and that, and quite frankly, I don't feel empowered to talk about any of them just yet, but rest assured that I will as soon as I feel comfortable with it. But in the meantime, I at least wanted to give you guys a little taste of these two moves so that you can take them home and practice them a little bit yourselves, yeah? Cool. So, woo! Thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a great week. Peace. This video was made possible thanks to the kind contributions of these folks right here. In addition, special thanks to Sean, Krishna, Kiro, as well as Andrew Hammond and Ben Reynolds. Thank you guys so much for making these videos possible. If you've enjoyed these videos or learned anything from them, please consider making a contribution at drexfactory.com/support. Help me to keep on making these videos that you love. Thanks.